Hello and welcome to the 160th photography podcast. In this episode, I'm going to talk about the Canon 850D. Now, I missed this completely. I didn't even know it came out. It was only when I was looking at something the other day that I'd noticed, Canon 850D came out. Now, Canon 3-digit DSLRs, so 850D or 200D, are your more entry-based DSLRs, but they're still really competent. So I got into Canon using a Canon 550D. So the 850D, I think, is Canon's 12th DSLR in this range. So what do you get? Is it worth it? Should you get one? So if you've already got a Canon of a similar nature, then, well, you're probably not going to see a big upgrade. You'd probably be better upgrade into a full frame or a mirrorless or something else. If you're new to photography or it's your first DSLR, then maybe there's something to consider. Now, the Canon DSLRs are 1, very good, 2, well priced, 3, have a very long line of lenses that you can use, and because Canon is the leader really, those lenses are cheap. And well, cheap is a relative term. They're cheaper and they're more available than, say, Pentax or Sony or Nikon. So you've got a good back catalogue of lenses. If you get one of these Canons, they're quite good for beginners. So the more modern ones, and my 200D has guides in of how to use your camera, little instructions, and it tells you things. So I have the 200D and I've done reviews and I've commented in this podcast about the 200D. It's a fantastic camera. It's light, it's small, it has excellent autofocus. I think it's very good for video. It's an excellent camera, and I have a full frame 5D classic, and to be honest, I use the 200D a lot more than the full frame. I get good performance out of both, but it's a similar performance in low light. The 200D to me always wins. And I can use lenses, I can use the same lenses on both. Well, I can't. The EFS lenses I can't use on the 5D. I've only got 2 EFS lenses anyway, and they wouldn't sort of be suitable for the 5D anyway. So what you get really with these cameras is you get a good camera. You get an all-round workhorse. They're not weather sealed, but you do get good photography. You do get a good introduction, you do get raw. But looking at the price, it's £850 just for the body. And I sort of think you could probably get the Canon RP for not much more. And you'd be on the newest system, you'd be on the newest lens mount, and it really wouldn't be much more. So is there an advantage to sticking with Canon's DSLRs over their mirrorless? Or should you even go for Canon? Like I said, if you have an existing one, then you're probably not going to see a huge deal of difference. So just for photography, you're not going to see a huge difference between my 200D and this one. I can't see there being a big difference. Is there a big difference between the 550 and this one? Yeah, there probably is. But again, the 550D is an 18 megapixel DSLR, got 9 autofocus points. It shoots 4 frames per second or something. It's, it's fine. You'll get good images with it. The 850D is a 24 megapixel camera. It's probably much better in low light. I always felt my 550D, I never go over ISO 800, and the 200D, I'll go up to 6400 with no problems really. So where the 200D is better than my 550D is in live view, and the 200D is the first camera really that I think this applied to. The 200D, as is the same with the 850D, is both a DSLR and a mirrorless. You can hold it up to your eye, you can use the EVF, and it's a DSLR. It feels like a DSLR, it acts like a DSLR. There's nothing wrong with a DSLR. DSLRs have been around for ages. Before that, they were just SLRs. They were the ones everyone wanted. They were brilliant. They still are. They do the job. There's no problem with them. They're very competent. The moment you press the live view button and you use the LCD, it's effectively a mirrorless camera. So when you use it as a mirrorless camera, you get face detect, and you'll get the little box around people's faces and it will continuously focus on people's faces. Fantastic. And my 200D does that, and it's brilliant for family photography, and it even captures fast moving children. The follow-up to the 200D, I think the 250D or the SL3, had face detect in live view, in EVF, and the 850D has that as well. You can look through the EVF and you'll get focusing on faces. You'll get the face tracking. I have no idea how that works. I've not seen a demonstration of how that works, but that's what you get. Now, it doesn't really seem like a great upgrade to me. I don't really know how it works. Apparently the viewfinder, the EVF, not the EVF, the optical viewfinder is a little bit inaccurate in this camera from what I've seen. But yeah, you can get face detect in non-live view, which I think is good. But again, nothing wrong with just pressing the button on the back and using the live view. So yeah, I do wonder whether at some point Canon is going to have to make a decision. Does it still do DSLRs, which are probably popular, which are good for beginners, or does it just stop doing them and go to its mirrorless, because that's what people want? So you're in this halfway house, and I do wonder, if you're spending £850, if you should not be in a halfway house and you should go the whole hog, and you should just go for the RP or the EOS R and be on the new mount. And of course you can take the old EF lenses on the new mount because it comes with a very good adapter. So yeah, there is nothing wrong with this camera. It's a good camera, this 850D. It will do everything really, really well. It probably won't be the top of its class in every aspect. It won't be the class leader for a camera under £1,000, but it will be competent in every category. It's got the C RAW, which is Canon's compressed RAW, it does JPEGs, it does RAW. It's going to have loads of things. It won't have 2 SD card slots. That's not the end of the world for me because I'm not a professional. It will be a very good workhorse. It will be thoroughly recommended, but it's just, do you stick with it or do you get the more modern stuff? It does 4K. It has a external mic input, 4K video, which I know Canon will put limitations on it, but it will still have it, whereas my 200D doesn't. But again, most people, HD is fine. The question just arises for me, should you get it or should you get the newer system? Again, as I've said before, it's probably not worth upgrading. You should probably upgrade past this if you're going to upgrade from an existing Canon camera. But those are my thoughts. Am I wrong? Am I right? Do let me know. Do follow me on Instagram at 160spp, or not follow me, do follow the podcast at 160spp, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Goodbye.